We're going to look at the switch statement now. So go ahead and open your basic.php file and rename it switch.php like I've done here and save it into your dev folder. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started by creating a variable assignment. So it's a equals 10. And the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and construct the switch statement so that you can see the basic construction of it. Alright, so first of all, we're going to start off with the word switch, and then we have parentheses, and inside of the parentheses we're going to put the value to be tested. In this case, it's going to be the variable of a, which we've assigned here. And then we go ahead and start with an open curly brace, and then lastly we'll have our end curly brace. And remember, basically what a switch is it's a substitution for an if-else statement. However, it has some restrictions. And one of the restrictions, for instance, is that we're only going to be able to test one case. And also, we're not going to be able to test something that's using comparison values. So, for instance, we couldn't do a switch on something like, if a is greater than 10, for instance. We can't do a switch on that. What we can do is we can evaluate whether or not a is something or is not something in several different instances. So let's talk about how we do that. So you're going to go down the next line and you're going to type in the word case. And the next thing you're going to type is going to be the value that you're testing to see if that value matches the correct value of a, the variable a. And so let's go ahead and do that. Let's see what an integer looks like. Let's actually test the value of 10, which is what it's actually going to return to be. All right, it's going to return to be 10, and that's going to be true. But so in the case of 10, we're going to echo this is 10. Okay. And then you want to do a thing called break on the next line with a semicolon at the end. And what break does is it keeps the switch case from going into some kind of infinite looping behavior, and it actually breaks out of it so that it can go to the next testing pattern. And that would be, if this actually didn't return to be a true value, then it would allow it to break out of its testing pattern. Alright, so let's go down and let's do another one that's case, and let's see what a string looks like. So let's test for the case of the word 10 like this. Alright, so you notice that if we're doing a string, you want to put the single quotes around it. Okay, and we're going to go here to echo, and we'll have some kind of thing. Alright, so this is a string, and we'll do it like that. And the last thing, you could have lots, excuse me, not the last thing, we need our break. And then the last thing that you want to do is you want to have something that's a default statement, so that if none of the above things evaluate to be true, then this way it will have something to default to, so that it doesn't just end up with nothing on the screen. Okay, so we could echo default returned. Okay, and we'll go ahead and type our break. Okay, and so let's just reiterate really quickly. So first of all, we have the first case we're testing is in the case that a equals the integer 10, echo this is 10. Break in the case that the a variable equals the string of ten, 10, okay, echo, this is supposed to say this is a string, and then break. And then the default value, if neither of those evaluates to be true, then it's going to echo default returned. Now, if this first one evaluates to be true, which it should, then what's going to happen is that it goes ahead, it evaluates the true, and as soon as something hits the truth mark, I guess, it's done. It's figured it out. Okay, it's true. We can stop this the switch now. All right, so let's go ahead and save this, and we'll do a test. And hit refresh, and it comes back with this is 10. So you can see here that this is correct. All right, and now if we were to change this variable to the word 10, let's do it like this. Okay, that could also be in double quotes as well. All right, let's save that and we'll test it in the browser. It says this is a string, and so forth. All right, and then let's just say that it's the string value of 2. Let's save that, and we're going to go test that. And it says default returned, and the reason is the default was returned, remember, is because none of the cases up above matched. Okay, so that's a really simple example. Now you might be wondering, like, what could I do with this? Well, these are going to be particularly useful whenever we actually do get into using loops, where we can loop through something and we can do a test to see if a certain item at that given time is evaluating to be something, and if it is, then it's going to return a certain value, for instance. But another thing that we can do that's a practical thing is we can also look at how we can test to see if we're on a certain page, and if we're on a certain page, then we could do any number of things, like, for instance, we could have a certain header image show up on page 1 versus page 2. Maybe would have a different header image. The home page could have something different. So there's some different things that you can do here. And also, this gives me an opportunity to kind of show you some other functions as well. But before we do that, let's go ahead and end this video demo, and that way it'll be clearly separated. So if you want to come back to this simple version, then you can find this one, and then we'll move on to the more complex version of what we're going to do in the next video.